How's it going, guys? So you might see from the title, I want to talk about my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3. And just a forewarning, anything I say is not meant to offend anyone in any way. I know if you like the game and you had a great time with it and like you have no disappointments with it, then that's great. And I'm honestly like really happy for you. There's just some things that I want to get off my chest. And I think that there's a couple people, I think there's a lot of people that will agree with me on a lot of these points. And I'm sure that there's a lot of other people talking about it as well, but this is just kind of my thoughts about everything. Real quick, spoiler warning. If you don't want any spoilers about the game, now's your time to leave. We're going to be talking about everything. I'm just going to wrap it up in one video. But like I said, if you enjoyed the game, then more power to you. That's awesome. As a game itself, it was a great game. As a Kingdom Hearts game, and what I expect as a Kingdom Hearts fan, did not live up to my expectations in a lot of areas. But just let me know what you guys think. If you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm right, let me know, because I would love to talk about it. Because this is a game that's like very near and dear to my heart, and so there's a lot of things on my mind about this. With that being said, let's go ahead. Like I said, spoiler warning. We're gonna get into it right now. So let's start off from the very beginning. When I was watching the trailers, I kind of wanted to stop watching the trailers because they were showing a lot, and then you know I think Nomura maybe said or like tweeted out something that said like, if you think like this was anything, you guys are in for a big surprise. And I was like, okay, well then I guess maybe this is all like not that crazy. All the trailers were major spoilers, like not major spoilers because none of the truly spoilerish stuff actually even matters in the game in general, because it all just gets reversed anyways. But it's still, I wasn't as impacted when the certain things happened as I would have been if I didn't see those trailers. For instance, there's a trailer where it shows basically the final battle where everyone, you know, Sora and the gang, everyone gets ready for the final battle, and they show up to Keyblade Graveyard, and they're greeted by Terranort, who they think is Terra right off the bat, because for some reason he can change his hair color. I don't fucking know. And so Ventus gets yeeted on hard. And basically everyone gets yeeted on, and there's a lot of, I want to get more into that later, because there's a lot of other points with that whole scene that I was just so upset with, that doesn't make any sense to me. When they all die, which they all die, I didn't care that much, because I knew from other trailers that there's a scene with Roxas, there's a scene with Xion, there was a lot of scenes with like Mickey getting like sucked into like the card and everything, with Axel being like gatted up by those lasers. There was a lot of scenes that I hadn't seen yet, so I knew it wasn't over. When they all died and like when Sora like cried out, that hurt a little bit, but it didn't hit me that hard. It just, they spoiled it in the trailers. They really did. Like, they really spoiled it in the trailers. Whether it was intentional or not, I'm sure it probably wasn't. They were just trying to show off their game, so I'm not gonna hate on them for that, but it would have been a lot nicer, I guess, if I had just avoided watching any trailers whatsoever. It would have hit me a lot harder, and I would have cared a lot more. Okay, so probably the biggest complaint I have about this game is that the game was way too easy. I mean, on my first playthrough, I did Proud Mode, and I died 6 times, and 2 of those times were to Gummy Ship missions, which I don't even really count that, but I was like, okay, I'll just put it in the death counter anyways. I died 6 times on my first playthrough. I could go back and play Kingdom Hearts 1 right now on the hardest difficulty, and probably die a lot more times than that. Like, the thing about the gameplay is that you could very much autopilot when fighting minion waves, when fighting bosses sometimes too. I never felt a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I was ever truly like, fuck, this is hard. This is genuinely hard. If I died, I beat it next try. With the amount of cheesy moves that you get, it makes the gameplay way too easy. Attractions, kiss my ass. I don't want any of that. It was annoying. I got to the point where I was skipping the attractions. It was just like, it just took away from the seriousness of the game, which I understand. Kingdom Hearts is not, it doesn't take itself too seriously, not all the time anyways. I understand that, but the fights, especially like boss fights and stuff, that was probably some of my favorite things from Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, was the boss fights and how intense it got and how challenging it was if you wanted it to be. Like, if you wanted it to be an easy gameplay or playthrough, you could play on the easy difficulty settings. But for people like me, I want a true challenge. I want to get just body whopped all day, and then I will feel that sense of accomplishment when I finally do beat that boss. And that's another thing that was missing from this game, is a sense of accomplishment. I don't feel any sense of accomplishment. The only kind of sense of accomplishment that I feel is, I guess, beating the game. But there was no real sense of accomplishment. There was no real struggle for me that I had to push through and get through that boss fight or get through that really challenging portion of the game. Overall, way too easy for me. I understand that doesn't make the game bad at all. It doesn't make the game bad. It makes the game disappointing for me personally. Okay. One that's kind of just nitpicky, which it's just kind of personal preference. I feel like there wasn't that many Disney Worlds. There definitely wasn't that many Disney Worlds. But let me elaborate a little bit more on that. There was not that many Disney Worlds, right? And their reasoning for that was because each world was, you know, a lot bigger, and they focused a lot more on each world. So they try to give us quality versus quantity, which I love that, and I was really excited for that. The problem is that the story part for each Disney World was just as short as any other game. So that was the problem for me. Like, I get that they worked so hard on making each Disney World explorable, which is great and everything, but to be honest, for my first playthrough, I want more content from each Disney World. I want a satisfying. I didn't feel satisfied from the Disney Worlds. There was no reason for me to go back to any Disney World. Like, the only reason for me to go back to another Disney World would be to look around and see how beautiful it is and stuff, and I guess try to find the lucky fucking emblems and get some ingredients. I hope we find some ingredients.
I bet we'll find some ingredients around here.
No, I'm not gonna fucking find any ingredients. That little side stuff is cool and all, but it should not take away from the main elements of the game. If they had this many worlds and then they made us come back for a second time and it was story driven, I would have been totally fine with that. I would have loved that, actually. That being said, don't get me wrong, the Disney Worlds looked amazing. I loved the music, even though some people are complaining about the lack of original music in this game. I don't really mind too much, and I thought that each one of them were great in their own way, except for fucking Winnie the Pooh. Now, I just want to talk about that real quick. What the fuck was Winnie the Pooh? There was 3 minigames, and each minigame was the same minigame, except a little bit different, and that's it. And that's it. Like, at that point, just don't even put it in the game. Where was Eeyore? Where was Eeyore?
Eeyore!
Oh, hello there, Eeyore.
Thanks for noticing me, Pooh Bear.
Oh,
There was no point for me to go to the Winnie the Pooh world, except to waste time, honestly, and play those mini games and play like some Candy Crush type shit. Like, so that being said, the Disney worlds, Winnie the Pooh world, disappointed a little bit in that. The other thing about the early part of the game, there's no point to the store. There's no point to going to any of those places. Like, the whole point for me just going to all these Disney worlds, right, was for Sora to get the power of waking. Doesn't ever get it. There was no point for any of the Disney worlds. Like, literally, there's a part in Pirates of the Caribbean where you have to go around and collect fucking crabs. And it's like 300 crabs. And it's not like there's like a big bunch of them just sitting around. You have to actually like spend a good amount of time fucking collecting crabs. What is that? No, that's like a side mission in a fucking MMO. Like a meticulous side mission in an MMO. It's like another time waster. It's stupid. I did not like that at all. And guess what? When you collect all the crabs, it doesn't actually do anything. The Jack Sparrow that told you, well, you know, we gotta collect crabs for Tia Dalma, that's not even the real Jack Sparrow. What was the point of that? There was none. The point of it was to be a time waster. And that's it. So, another big thing about this game, the pacing was really, really bad. It dropped off so hard. Like, I think once you fight as Riku, and oh my god, I want to talk about that. We'll talk about that later. Why the fuck? Anyways, once that whole scene happens, it picks up pretty heavily. And then it just drops off. It just fucking drops off completely. And then it's just slowly, you do the Disney worlds, and then you get a little, like, you don't even get a hint to anything, because anytime the organization members come by, they literally don't do or say anything important. Another thing, there was no original worlds. There was Twilight Town, well, half of Twilight Town. By the way, what the fuck happened to Twilight Town? So yeah, that was slightly disappointing. The other thing, where the fuck are all the Final Fantasy characters? I was so disappointed with that. That's been a staple in the series. Since Kingdom Hearts 1, it's been a staple, is that there's Final Fantasy characters mixed in with everyone. So I was disappointed that there was none of them. And they don't even explain what they're doing. They don't even explain why you don't see them in Hollow Bastion. Where was Sephiroth? He's been a staple in Kingdom Hearts 1. In the main title games, he's been a staple, and he wasn't here. That's just a missed opportunity, honestly. Yeah, so there's just like some staples that were missing for me, and I guess those are maybe more nitpicks, but like, it didn't feel like a Kingdom Hearts. It didn't feel like Kingdom Hearts without it. It just felt like it was missing something, I guess I should say. And on top of that, the whole, going back to the whole easy gameplay thing, why the fuck do I get, what is it called in this game? Second chance or last chance or something? I forgot what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. It's where it ensures that you keep 1 HP after taking a combo. I got that in the first world. No. 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 On the hardest difficulty? Fuck no. Why did I get that in the first fucking world? I got that in Olympus. I got that in Kingdom Hearts 2.9. I didn't even get that in Kingdom Hearts 3. I got that in Kingdom Hearts 2.9. Just a hard no for me. What were you guys thinking with that one? Okay, talking too much about that. Anyways, other thing I want to talk about, important characters did not get enough screen time. That's a huge one for me, okay? So the whole thing about Kingdom Hearts 3 is that it's all these games, right? It's all these games that you've played, or maybe haven't played, but at least you've played or know about some of them, or all of them. It's all these games culminating into this one game, right? And to be fair, it's a tough task to get everyone a good amount of screen time without taking away from the main story that's going on. But important characters did not get enough screen time at all. At all. For instance, Aqua. That was just disappointing, dude. She was trash this whole game. Like, I love Aqua, but she didn't do anything. The only thing she did was she unlocked Castle Oblivion to get Ventus. That's all. That's all she did. Axel got quite a bit more than a lot of other characters for screen time, but I still wish that there was more. I wish that I could have seen him training with Kairi or something. All we know, we don't ever see them training. We don't ever see them doing anything. We just know that they're training. And it's all off screen. You never get to see it. It would have been cool to at least show like them like using their keyblades a little bit, but no, you don't ever see them use their keyblades at all, except for when Axel gets fucking yeeted on. So that was disappointing. You know, it is what it is. Roxas and Ventus meeting wasn't as significant as it should have been, and Aqua and Ventus meeting wasn't as significant as it should have been. These people are like best friends and they hadn't seen each other in fucking years, and then when they first see each other, they're like not that shook. Really quickly, to go over Aqua a little bit more, she disappointed me not the most, but close to the most in this game, as a character goes anyways. She's a Keyblade master, right? She's supposed to be the best out of all of them. Maybe excluding Mickey, but she's supposed to be the best out of all of them. And as soon as she sees that demon tide or the demon tornado, whatever, she just gives up. What? That is not the fucking Aqua that I know. That is so not like her character. It doesn't make any sense. She goes through hell to make sure that Ventus, and she tries, she fails with Terra, but she goes through hell to make sure Ventus is safe, to make sure her friends are safe. And then when her friends are actually about to fucking die, she just like, and gives up. And just drops her Keyblade. That pissed me off so much. Also, really quickly before I get into any of the other stuff that I want to get into, like the nitty gritty, gummy ships, nah, that was a big time waster. The bosses were just basically bullet sponges. There's no point. Okay, so getting to the end game. This is where things pick up quite a bit, and it gets really, really good actually. As far as all of my complaints go, this final part of the game was honestly amazing. The action was really, really cool actually. There were high stakes, so it actually was impactful for me. Seeing, you know, people get like tortured, like Axel getting tortured, or Ven and Sora getting chained up by Terranort. That was actually impactful. So there was a lot of things that they did do right with the last part of the game, and I applaud them for that, because they gave me a lot of the things that I was wanting to see, like the reunion of Xion, Roxas, and Axel. Boy, I cried like a little baby. There's a lot of scenes in this final battle part that are great. The only nitpick I have is that the boss fights were, again, super easy. And even though I was fighting 3 of them at a time, it was still easy. And then the pacing was kind of weird. I do like that each organization member had a little cutscene at the end, where they got to say their final words or whatever after they died. I like that. It just kind of ruined the pacing a little bit with the boss fight. That one I'm not even too mad about. That's just a little thing. The other thing that I'm really pissed about, why the fuck are you able to play as Aqua and Riku early in the game if they're not ever gonna let you play as them ever again? Like, don't tease me like that. They basically just teased us with like, hey, me and you both know that this is a fully playable character, but we're never gonna let you play as him again, so yeah, get wrecked. Then we go to where we find out that Xehanort's been making all these no-names. If you don't know what that is, it's Xehanort's Keyblade with the I in it, which was the Master of Masters Keyblade, pass it down to Lushu, pass it down, yada yada yada. They never explain anywhere in any of the lore that you need 13 no-names to open up Kingdom Hearts, or to do that. It's always, or to even form the Keyblade. They never say that anywhere. And why no names were being created after someone died is a mystery to me. It's another thing that's just not explained at all. And also, it kind of makes it useless for light and dark to clash, the 7 lights and the 13 darknesses to clash, unless, like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, if he could have just gotten the no names from killing all of his other selves, then why didn't he just commit seppuku or whatever and just on all of themselves and just do that? Anyways, it just doesn't make sense. Real quick, I want to backtrack just a bit. Another thing that I was really disappointed in is they don't explain a lot of stuff. There's a part where I believe it's Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, who is talking to Demyx, Luxord, Marluxia, and Larxene, right? We know Larxene and Marluxia were in the Keyblade War back in the day from Kingdom Hearts Unchained. We don't know about Luxord and Demyx though, and Ansem just kind of drops it that they, all 4 of them, have another purpose. He's like, why do you think I chose 8 through 12, which is their organization numbers? And he's like, it's because of your role in the Keyblade War. So now we know that Demyx and Luxord had a role in the Keyblade War. Why? We don't know their role. I don't even really know Marluxia and Larxene's role in the war. But there's just another thing that's just not explained, but it's just like dropped. It's just like, it's like when I heard that, I got so hyped and I was like, holy shit. And I hung on to that. You know what I mean? I hung on to that for a while. And then they never talk about it again. Like, at that point, just don't even say anything. Getting back, so you get to the end after you fight all three of the Xehanorts, Ansem, Xemnas, and young Xehanort. Xehanort just fucking kills Kairi, which, by the way, Kairi's fucking useless. I have never been this mad at Kairi before. She was a hindrance rather than help. If she was just not there at all, it would have been better for the crew. But it is what it is. Kairi, what the fuck? You guys had such... It's not that hard to have like a cutscene of Kairi putting in some work on some Heartless at least. But then to have her be the fucking... someone that has to be rescued again? It's just lazy, dude. It's just lazy. Like, she's been that way every single game. Every single main title game, I should say. And now it's like that again. Anyways, Xehanort takes her, and he's like, Sora, you need some motivation, so I'm gonna kill your girlfriend, and he kills her. And so Sora gets all upset, and I'm not gonna lie, this scene did hit me. It did hit me. Sora gets all upset, tries to fight him, Riku tries, Mickey tries. They can't even fuck with Xehanort, dude. He's just slapping them around, dude. They can't even touch him. He's fucking them up. And then Xehanort uses Stop on Mickey and Riku, and Sora is just kind of like giving up, but then like Donald and Goofy like get him up or something. So it's like a super... this is what I mean about bad pacing, because it's a super emotional moment because Kairi just died as far as we know, and Sora's like crying. And as soon as Xehanort stops Riku and Mickey, all of a sudden Donald and Goofy pick up Sora and they're like, okay, I'm ready. And he's just like, he's fine. Like, I don't know, it wasn't as impactful. He wasn't sad for that long. He wasn't. And then all of a sudden, Riku and Mickey come back and they're like, hey, we figured out a way to defeat Xehanort. Xehanort's a portal to the past somehow. Again, lazy writing. What? How? Explain, please. What do you mean? His body? Is there like there's a little battle sphere inside his heart and you can travel to that? I don't know. So then you go to the final boss and the final world, Scala, which again was disappointed that you weren't. It's not an actual world. You can't just go there and walk around there, which I get it. It's the final part of the game, but I still would have liked that. But you get to the final boss. It's actually really beautiful and the scenes are really, really cool. Then you fight Xehanort and his like 13 other selves. Super easy. It's another thing, another complaint, was too easy. Got through that, no problem. Then you fight him with his armor on, which he looks dope as fuck, I'm not gonna lie. Which was also really easy. You get to the underwater part, which also, why the fuck am I fighting this boss underwater? The underwater combat is seen in one world, and it's not for that long at all. Why is it part of the final boss fight? That makes no sense to me. I think I did die like once at this part, but it was still so easy. And then you fight him, and then in my mind, once you actually beat him, which is like when he's in just his normal clothes, he's just normal Xehanort, and there's like Kingdom Hearts in the sky. Once you beat him, I thought that there was gonna be another form. I was like, oh, he's not done yet, dude. He's not done yet. And I thought he was gonna like do something crazy, but he didn't. That was it. I was like, that's it? Okay. Xemnas was harder than you, my dude. What? You must be really old then. You need to get another vessel now. And then we get the big reveal that Ericus had been inside Terra all this time, which I actually love that. I think that is such a nice twist. It makes sense because Ventus has done that with Sora. It makes sense to the story. It's actually something that makes sense. And it was a big ass reveal. It was surprising. So I actually really love that whole thing. The only thing that I'm mad about is Xehanort. Why all of a sudden is he a good guy? I don't want to like Xehanort. Fuck that dude. He killed Kairi. He literally killed Kairi right in front of Sora's eyes. And you know what? Sora's like, hey, dude, we all make mistakes, bro. It's okay. Come on in. Give me a hug, dude. Give me a hug. I don't understand. He's done so much evil, like truly evil shit. He fucking tortured Terra for years. For years. And then he just gets a pass because he's like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to be bad anymore. This was supposed to be the big bad guy. You thought Ansem, Seeker of Darkness from Kingdom Hearts 1 was bad? Yeah. Try Xemnas from Kingdom Hearts 2. You thought Xemnas was bad? Try Xehanort. No, actually, Xehanort's not that bad. He's actually kind of a cool guy. We shared a beer together. Got a lot of good stories. Xehanort should not have gone out that easy. Xehanort should have fought till his last fucking breath, dude. He wholeheartedly believed in his ideals, and then he just gave them up once he saw Master Eraqus. You sly fox.
You sly fox.
No. Yeah. But anyways, that's the whole story. Now, let's get to the endgame shit, because that's where I'm the most disappointed in this game. There's no endgame content at all. There is, though. Okay, there is. But it's fucking battle spheres, dude. No. 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 You know what? Actually, I wouldn't be that mad if there was battle spheres and then extra secret bosses that were new. But the battle spheres are literally just the same minions that you fought all game throughout the other games, except they have more health and they hit a little bit harder. What? And they weren't even that hard. At that. I beat the Twilight Town one first fucking try. It wasn't that hard, because you get so many get out of jail free cards with this game. The Flan minigames, I'm not even gonna try to touch that. The secret boss in this game, which is just the Heartless from Kingdom Hearts 1. You guys know the ones I'm talking about, right? I forget what they're called, but they have like the swords, and then they spin a ring of fire around you. They're at the very end of Kingdom Hearts 1. Yeah, it's literally that. That's the secret boss, but he's a little bit beefier now. He's been hitting the gym a little bit more. Got some new gear. That's it. That secret boss fight was stupid easy. I beat it at level 39 on the hardest difficulty with the Big Hero 6 Keyblade. That was so disappointing. From boss fights that I'm used to, like Sephiroth and Terra, that was a walk in the park, dude. He literally only has 4 moves that he uses throughout the entire fight, and they're so predictable. And then when he goes into like his second and third phase, he combos in those moves. It's not anything different. Like it's just not good. It's just not good. And there's a lot of people that are saying that
You can't be mad about the lack of secret bosses in Kingdom Hearts 3 because Kingdom Hearts 2 had no secret bosses as well. They didn't have that much post-game stuff. It's not until Final Mix or 2.5 or 1.5 came out that's when it actually became good.
No, shut up. No. That is no excuse. Those were old games for the PS2. This is a fucking PS4 game. And number one, just because a game was how it was back in the day, does that mean that they don't learn from their mistakes? That they can't improve? Yeah, no. This is just another way for them to get another $60. I guarantee there's going to be a Kingdom Hearts 3.5 where they're going to have the secret bosses and all the content that I've been looking for. And I'm going to buy it, but like, they need to not do that. That's just... It's just a little bit slimy. It's a little bit slimy. I understand they did it for Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2 because those came out on the PlayStation 2. You can't update games for PlayStation 2. So they had to come out with another game, the Final Mix. There's no excuse for them to do that with this game. There's no excuse. It should be, if anything, it should be like a $15 DLC, not a full-priced game. No. No. So, to all the people that are saying, well, you can't be mad that there's not enough post-game stuff in Kingdom Hearts 3, because that's how it was when Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 1 came out. That was a PS2, this is a PS4. They had 13 years to learn from their mistakes of not having enough content in each game. They should have done this one right, and they didn't. But yeah, all in all, just was not a satisfying end. So, the secret cutscene and the after-credits scene. So, the whole thing, after you beat Xehanort and everything, you Sora says he's got to go look for Kairi, right? Sounds familiar. So he goes teleport somewhere, not explained. He doesn't know where he's going, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even mad about that. I actually like that there's some ambiguity to where Sora is. They completely fucking ruined that with the secret cutscene. They completely ruined that. I would have liked it so much better if the secret cutscene had nothing to do with Sora and you don't even know where he is, but maybe just like Riku's looking for Sora and Kairi or something. The cutscene after the credits was a giant middle finger to me. Pete and Maleficent show up at the very end, which throughout the whole game in the Disney worlds, they're looking for this black box. They show up at the end. The black box shows up with Lushu and the Keyblade, and Lushu summons not all of them. He summons 4 of the foretellers, which is really cool. I was hyped, dude. I was like, oh, yes, they're gonna finally explain it. After all these years of waiting, they're gonna finally explain what's in the box and what people's roles were. They don't. But I hope you like long stories. That's gotta be a meme, dude. That's gotta be someone just trolling the shit out of us. We've been like craving to know what's in that box and what Lushu's role was. And then Xigbar, oh, by the way, Xigbar's Lushu, which wasn't that crazy to me. It was cool, but like, I don't know. I guess I was underwhelmed because I didn't find out anything else. But anyways, so Xigbar's Lushu. So after they're like, okay, Lushu, what was your role? Like the bear guy, I forgot his name. He says, what was your role? Xigbar just looks at the camera and he's like, and then it fucking ends. Thanks for that. Thanks. I feel like that was just a big slap in the face a little bit. Like, we really wanted to know what it was and the whole story about that, but he was like, nah, you're gonna have to buy the next game in 20 years when it comes out. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much my thoughts about it. Overall, just disappointed with it. It was not what I expected it to be, and I understand maybe I was a little bit overhyped for it, but at the same time, there's a lot of just objective issues with this game. But anyways, if you guys think how I think, if you guys think the same thing, if you share my opinions, let me know. Let's talk about it. If you don't share my opinions and you disagree with me, let's talk about that too. I want to know what you guys think. Thank you all for watching. And if you liked what you saw, just go ahead, like, subscribe, would be very much appreciated. Oh, also, I stream on Twitch pretty much every night, so you should follow me on Twitch as well. Link is in the description. Alright, that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys all have a great day, and I'll see you later. Hope you like long games. Long stories? Long stories.